I'm going to show you how to take down and clean and lubricate Smith & Wesson M&P Shield. This happens to be the Shield EZ, which is the one, it's got an easier to operate slide for those with weaker hands or may have injuries. This one happens to have a grip safety. The gun will not fire unless it is properly gripped and that safety is depressed, as well as this external safety must be off. So this is in the safe position. This is your slide stop lever. This is your takedown lever. So first thing we're going to do, of course, is verify that the gun is unloaded. So I'm going to lock the slide back. I have no magazine in there. There is no round in the chamber and no magazine. So we are completely unloaded. So first thing you want to do to take one of these down, remove the slide, also called a field strip, is safety on. We just want to magazine out, lock the slide back. You see that locks up into the slide like that. While the slide is locked back, you just want to rotate this lever to the 6 o'clock position, and then holding on to the slide, move it back. When you move it back, it releases the slide stop, and then slowly allow it forward, and you can push it right off the front of the frame, just like that. All right, you set that aside. Now you'll notice the recoil spring and guide rod. Just put a little bit of pressure in this direction and lift up, and that comes out. And then same thing, just grab a hold of the barrel and lift that out. Very easy. And there it is, field stripped for cleaning. For cleaning, first thing I usually clean is the barrel. This barrel has recently been cleaned, so it is looking pretty good. Normally you're going to have some buildup on this feed ramp here, and when you have that, what you want to do is get a little Hoppe's No. 9 solvent, and you just want to clean that, get a little bit in the chamber here, and you'll get that out. See, it's fairly clean. I don't clean my guns until they're absolutely spotless, because first time you fire it, they're just going to get mucked up again. But clean it enough to keep the dirt from building up. So yeah, see, that's pretty clean. So to clean the all the way through the barrel, there's a couple of ways to do that. The easiest way, I think is the easiest way, is to get a Boresnake, which is just a long snake. It has a string to pull it through, and it's got copper brush here, copper brush here. So it's actually brushing out some of the harder buildup that might be in there. And then this fits really snug, and this is going to just wipe out the entire barrel, make it nice and shiny. So you might have to go through a couple of times. If the barrel's really dirty, you could put a little bit of Hoppe's No. 9 solvent on this. You could, what I'll do here, get a little solvent and just put it in there, just get it wet inside the barrel, and you could just let it sit for a little bit to kind of work a little. And then you just want to get this, drop that through, and pull it through. You want to get the one that's right for the barrel, so it's got a nice tight fit, but it's not too tight to pull it through. Just pull it through, run it through one more time. I usually just do 2 passes, but you can do more. You can do whatever you want. Copper brushes. All right, now that be nice and clean like that. The more common way to clean the bore of your pistol is to use a rod and patches. These patches are made, cut, they're proper size to fit tightly in a 9mm. Actually, they're this here. These are universal for 38 to 45 caliber, 357 and 9 millimeter, 10 millimeter. They're just soft cotton patches. So the way you do it with the rod and patches is, here we have, since this is the middle of the video, but I have went out and shot this gun again, so you can see there's some buildup here on the ramp and inside. So we're going to go ahead and clean this again. So we're going to take a patch. You probably want to wear rubber gloves for this, but I'm not going to, just for sake of expediency. I'm going to get some Hoppe's number 9. I have it in my nice dispenser here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this patch nice and wet with Hoppe's number 9. Pretty wet. I'm going to put it on the end of the rod. It's a very simple process. And then we're going to force it through. It's going to be nice and tight, which is good, because it's going to be nice and tight, and see, it comes out pretty dirty. So we'll get rid of that. And basically, you are going to just repeat this process until it comes out clean. And if you take your time, the solvent that's already in the bore right now from the first pass is going to work on loosening up any further dirt and grime. So this one's pretty tight. You might want to get some smaller patches and see how they go. They're a little bit easier to get through. But this is exactly why I recommend, whoops, that's great, it doesn't spill. This is exactly why I recommend the Boresnake. It is so much easier. It's a lot less trouble. It's a lot easier. You're not going to jam your, a couple of times as I pushed through and it released, I jammed my knuckles on the edge of this. That is not fun. So that's another way, what I consider the old way, which I never do anymore. The next thing I'll do, what I'm going to do is use something new. It's called original gun oil. I got this originalgunoil.com. It's not cheap, but it's owned by a veteran, by veterans, and he takes $1 out of every bottle and donates it to veteran causes. So I do like that. My wife is a veteran. So what I'm going to do, this is clean and lube. So what I'm going to do, just put a couple of drops on the outside, and then I'm just going to kind of, you need a paper towel for this, because this isn't really a finish, so it's okay. And I'm just going to, this not only cleans it, but it leaves a little bit of that lube behind to help protect it from corrosion. Get that nice and clean. Okay, all right, now I'm done with the barrel. Now the guide rod assembly. Now, this is a little bit unusual type assembly for the EZ. It's a little bit less of a slide, less of a spring pressure, but it's an assembly, so I wouldn't want to take that apart necessarily. What you can do for this is either just wipe it down, which is what I've been doing. It doesn't really appear to be really dirty. The other thing you could do is get some gun scrubber and spray it down with this over a trash can and get that nice and clean. That's what I would do for that. Moving on to the slide, I would use either some gun oil. Just put a couple of drops in here. I'm going to get dropped into the slot here, because that's where it slides along the frame. These pieces fit into the groove, slides back and forth, so you want that to be nice and lubed. But what I would do, if it's dirty still, get some original gun oil or get some solvent, put it in there, and just use a nice soft bristle brush. You use a toothbrush, an old toothbrush, or whatever, and just scrub it down. Make sure you get the breech face here that goes up against the firing pin, comes out of that hole and strikes the primer, so you want that to be nice and clean. And then you can wipe all that away. You can use microfiber here, paper towel. I wouldn't use a paper towel on the finish. We're going to use a salter cloth for that. But we're just going to wipe this down real good. You can use a cotton swab to get all the crud out of those grooves. Get those grooves nice and clean. Like I said, this original gun oil will clean, and it also leaves the lubricant behind, so it's gonna work real nice. Then you can use, to get down in here, get all that nice and clean, get all the residue off there. And it doesn't have to be spotless. You just want any crud out of there that's really starting to build up. And it's gonna look pretty good. Pretty good like that. The other option for the slide would also get your gun scrubber, spray it down over a trash can, and let it drip for a minute or two, and then wipe it down. That's a good way to get solvent into all the little nooks and crannies. For the frame, we want to kind of do the same thing. We want to clean these areas here. This is where the slides on these notches here. We want to get these nice and clean. So you could do the same thing, get the gun oil on there, scrub it with this. You could use some solvent. You could use the gun scrubber. And for this gun, the Shield, this is a polymer, which is a kind of durable plastic. So you want to make sure it's synthetic safe. The normal regular gun scrubber may damage the polymer parts of your gun, so you don't want that to happen. So you want to spray that all down, dry it off, wipe it down, dry it off with a paper towel or microfiber if you choose. Try and get all the dirt out of there. Okay, now that we've got everything pretty clean, let's move on to lubricate. To lubricate this gun, there's really only a couple places you really need to put the lube. So I'm gonna put 1 drop of lube here. We wanna put 1 drop here, 1 drop here, 1 drop here. And I like to put all these moving parts here, just 1 drop right down. There's a spring down in there that things kind of pivot on. Just 1 drop down in there. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to set this aside for a moment. On the slide, I will put 1 drop here. And then sometimes I'll put a drop in each of these grooves, but I really have enough on the frame where it goes into. So I don't think I'm going to do that. We're just going to have to wipe that away. So that's about all you really need to do for lube. Sometimes what I'll do is put a drop on the barrel and just kind of wipe it around. This is more to protect it from corrosion, because this gun may not be fired for a few months and it'll be carried by me for a while. It'll sit in the gun safe for a while, and I want to make sure it doesn't corrode. So that's what we're going to do there. Next, we're going to reassemble, which is fairly easy. It's just doing the disassembly backwards. So the first thing is take the barrel and drop it in. Make sure it's all the way back so it's kind of locked in there. Recoil spring assembly, set it in this side. Press on it just a little bit, and I'll give you a close-up here. And this should be standing up. You see it's kind of oval, so you want it to be standing up, just like that, with these straight sides sitting just like that. You see how that fits in there. All right, and we want to set it like that. And we just I'm going to line this up with the slots. Just slide it right on. Now this you might have to jiggle it a little bit back and forth to get it past that. And you don't want to depress this while you're trying to put this back on. This is still fine up in that position, so we want to hold it but without depressing the grip safety. Now the goal here, we want to slide it all the way back. You're going to feel some spring resistance, and we want to get this notch all the way here and press this lever up to lock it back. So it's locked back like that. Simply move that back into position, hold the slide. You can hold the slide and release that, or you can just press the slide back and that will release on its own. And there you have it. It is back together. First thing I like to do is work the slide back and forth to get all the lube kind of spread around in there and all the moving parts. Now when you do that, you're going to end up with any extra lube's going to kind of come through. So I'm going to get, I don't have a microfiber cloth handy, so I'm going to get just a couple of patches from my kit. They're nice and soft, it's like cotton. And I'm just going to wipe the outside of the slide to remove fingerprints and all that extra oil. And I'm going to show you how nice it looks. See, it looks real nice. Get all those fingerprints off of there. It's real nice and clean. Now the gun is ready to go. The other thing you could do is you could check the trigger, making sure the gun is empty, of course. Fire it in a safe direction into the ground. Make sure it's working that way. You can get some snap caps, pop them in there, and rack the slide and make sure that your snap caps, dummy rounds, eject as you go back and forth with the slide, and then take it to the range and shoot it and have a good time. If you are interested in the original gun oil, go to originalgunoil.com, use all caps save with Dave. That's SAVEWITHDAVE as your coupon code, and that'll save you 10%. So, and let them know where you heard about it. Again, it's originalgunoil.com, save with Dave. All right, thank you very much. Please leave comments down below if you have any suggestions or other ways to clean this gun that are helpful to everyone. I'd appreciate it. Thank you.